Okay, so, sexism in the Demonata books. Now, this isn't something I picked up on while I was reading through the series. It's just something that came more to my attention in the last book particularly, and when I look back in retrospect, I found more and more evidence for my thesis. Okay, the author, Darren Shan, is obviously male, and so it's written from a male perspective, and since it is an action-oriented book, there's a lot of fighting and blood and guts and gore, and this unfortunately gives the rather overused stereotype that girls can't fight. Don't get me wrong, there are girls that fight. My argument here is that the girls always come out worse or are weaker. So, first book. The first book effectively gives us our main narrator, Grubbs Grady, and he's going to be the most used narrator throughout the series. He appears in 6 books, whereas Colonel and Beck only have 2 each. He's basically an average teenage kid. That's meant to be the whole purpose. So, Lord Loss introduces us to Grubbs' family, and then they're horribly slaughtered. You know, this is very brief. So in our brief introduction to the family, we only get a few details of them. The mother is basically the screechy, whiny, how can you do this type, which is really an insulting mother figure. I mean, not all mothers are like that. My mother certainly isn't. And he has an older sister, and the older sister is basically introduced as a cow, and she eats loads and loads of sweets when she gets stressed, which seems a very hurtful stereotype to, you know, put towards girls, and she values material goods ahead of actual interaction, because when she tries to apologise to Grubbs, she does so by buying him a football kit. Now, I know I'm inferring a lot here, but that's just, you know, if you look at it, this is the impression you get. Whereas the dad figure is the one who then goes and does all the explanation and the emotional side of things, and so it's just, you know, a bit insulting. And there's a very brief introduction to an aunt figure who's a lonely old spinster, again, a hurtful stereotype. The main character I'm going to draw upon in Lord Lost, the only sort of really genuine female character, is Mira Flame. Mira Flame is hot, you know, not to make a pun here. That's how she's introduced. She shows up on a motorbike in full bike leathers, fucking blonde hair flowing behind her, and Grubbs sees her coming up the garden path and fucking is like legging it down the stairs to go, oh, I've got to see this hot chick. And then basically Billy and Dervish and Grubbs treat her like an object, like it's, oh, she's so hot, and she flirts with them in this respect. She's flirting with teenage boys, basically using her physical appearance to her advantage, and I would be okay with this if that was then counteracted with her having some actual personality. But throughout the entire book, she's basically the hot chick who is Dervish's sidekick, and then gets knocked out the first time something goes wrong and remains unconscious for the entirety of the book, leaving the boys to tidy up the mess. It's just really, really insulting. And then, okay, Book 2. Book 2 introduces us to our second narrator. He's called Colonel Fleck, again, a boy. He's a little more lonely than Grubbs, not quite so much the usual kind of teenager, more kind of the weird kid type. His mum's more the type of mum I am familiar with and think is more realistic, the more sort of caring maternal type. But again, there is an issue with this. His parents have lost a baby girl. That's established as a fact. And the father is the one who is more objective about this, and he is the one who is arguing, going, no, we must not keep this demon child that showed up, because basically that's the plot. We must not keep this demon child that's shown up, no, it would be wrong, we must wait and see it, blah 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 blah. And she's the one who's going, oh, but I lost my daughter. Again, annoying. Why are women always the emotional types in these stories? The main sort of 2 female characters who appear in this are Nadia Moore and Sharmila Mukherjee. And Sharmila I like. Sharmila is a character I really, really like, and she gets majorly fucked later on, but we'll get to that. She's Indian, about 50 in the first appearance of her, and she's a fucking awesome mage, because basically they're in the demon universe and they're fighting, and she sets stuff on fire, that's her thing. She just fucking fire everywhere. Now, this is one point that I do have content with. Right, Nadia, who can see the future, predicts one of them's going to die, and it is Raz, who is the only male, other than Baranabas and Colonel, of the group at that time. So that does conflict the whole, you know, the females are weak thing. But later on, there is a moment where they're in Lord Loss's realm, and there's a big sort of empty chasm they might all fall into that's got shark demons underneath. And they've all got to leap and jump onto this wall, propelling themselves with magic, and Sharmila fucks it up. It's not described as being her fault, but she fucks it up and Baranabas has to save her. Again, this is damsel in distress type territory. It kind of counteracts all the shit that's already happened. And then later on, Nadia dies. Nadia gets fucking killed. But oh wait, she's not dead. She sold her soul to what is effectively a representation of the devil for freedom. Now, if you're seeing ties here to the whole concept of, you know, marriage, a woman being sold into a marriage that she isn't felt comfortable with, I think that metaphor works. She's with Baranabas, she doesn't want to be. Baranabas won't let her go free. When she does escape, he chases her down and drags her back, kicking and screaming, to the demon universe. This is not nice. But then she's evil for escaping that, just because the guy who happens to have, like, offered her freedom is a demon. He's not even one of the bad demons particularly. He feeds off misery, not flesh. For fuck's sake. So anyway, again, annoying that basically a female character has been killed or gone evil. This is a recurring theme here, trust me on this one. And then my final point in this book is that there is a point where Colonel has to play a game, effectively, that risks his soul to discover the truth of who the demon thief is. This is where the title of the book comes from. And he sort of turns to the others and goes, "Who will help me?" And Sharmila goes, "No, I can't." And Baranabas goes, "Like I give a shit." But Dervish and Shark, who have been introduced by this point, go, "Yeah, okay, yeah, we're up for it, yeah." Which sort of gives the whole, you know, men are brave, men are courageous, men fight mentality, which pisses me off. Okay, book 3, Slaughter. Basically, this is a filler book. It's, the author Darren Shine has basically admitted that he just wanted a gap-filling book between books 1 and 5 to show why Ruffs has gotten better at magic, but it does have sexism in it. Number 1, although you don't learn it in this book, Junie's evil. Rereading it, I did pick up on the hints. Also, right, there's blatant sexism in reference to her. She's cute, she's an albino. That is constantly mentioned, right? You do not need both. You do not need to keep referring to her as the cute albino. You can call her the cute girl, or you can call her the albino. If you use either, we'll know who you mean. There's not more than one albino walking around at this point. So, you know, it seems a bit fucking annoying that they're constantly referring to her female attractiveness. And I'm aware that the narrative for this book is technically a teenage boy and so will notice. But speaking as a teenage boy, I do not go around seeing every guy because, hey, gay here, and go, he's hot, he's hot, he's hot, and think that about every fucking hot guy who walks past and keep calling him the hot guy. Fucking, ugh, it's irritating. Again, a woman goes evil. A woman's the cause of all the trouble. She's evil and she gets betrayed. Davida Hain, she's actually quite a fun character. Pity she's evil. Fucking hell. So yeah. There is one point I like in this. There is a girl called Bo Cunard who finds bravery and risks her life to help try and save everybody in Slaughter near the end of the book. And she goes back to try and rescue her dad and brother when she could have escaped to freedom, so she's showing bravery. But then she's like, okay, you do hear from her again, and I'll get to this. Basically, she loses. She isn't one of the winners. She's fucking gone and dead.